Picture gazing into the void of the cosmos, 13 billion years of darkness and silence, stretched across a backdrop of stars so far away their light barely murmurs. Then, suddenly, something responds, not by chance, not by natural cause, but with a deliberate, rhythmic pulse. That's what just occurred. The James Webb Space Telescope, our most advanced and sensitive instrument observing the universe, wasn't expected to detect anything in this sector. It had long been classified as a dead zone, no galaxies, no stars, no known objects, only empty, silent vacuum. Yet something shimmered, a faint but distinct flicker registered in the telescope's infrared sensors. It wasn't a star, it wasn't a quasar, it didn't behave like light should at that range. As scientists analyzed the data, zoomed in, and reconstructed the signal, what emerged wasn't just puzzling, it was unsettling. Some theorized it might be a reflection, others suspected a structure. But one thing became increasingly difficult to ignore: this light didn't appear to be a product of nature. It looked intentional, and the last time we came across something, even remotely similar, we weren't prepared for the consequences. So the question has shifted, not whether we are alone, but who has just revealed themselves. And why now? The anomaly came from a part of space previously known for being utterly uneventful. It was officially listed as a cold zone, lying just beyond the reach of the Oort cloud. This sector had been scanned numerous times before. No stars, no dust clouds, no motion, just blankness. But in mid-May, while Webb was conducting standard background calibrations, one of its sensors picked up an inconsistency. The signal was barely above the noise threshold, but it was steady, a precise rhythm of infrared pulses every 2 hours. Nothing we currently know of in the universe emits with that level of precision. Pulsars do pulse rhythmically, but they spin and decay. This signal was still fixed. The team rechecked their instruments multiple times. They compared it against every known natural model. No matches. The signal didn't merely repeat, it encoded. Subtle modulations in the pulses formed intervals resembling binary patterns. The signal came from an isolated region, 1.12 light-years beyond the edge of our solar system, too distant for comets, too barren for debris. Yet something was there, stationary, observing. After several weeks of decoding, the data revealed something astonishing. The source of the light wasn't a point. It was a structure, spread like a web or a grid when mapped in 3 dimensions. A large, symmetrical pattern emerged, one that dwarfed Jupiter in scale. It seemed capable of reflecting, absorbing, and redirecting energy in ways no known material should. Then came a more chilling realization: the light wasn't broadcasting in all directions. It was focused, a narrow beam aimed directly at Earth. The symmetry of the form bore eerie similarities to quantum interference patterns, almost as though it was designed to manipulate or observe spacetime itself. Webb's instruments also picked up unfamiliar radiation near the pulses, not thermal, not cosmic. Some experts believe it could be a form of energy yet unknown to our understanding of physics, or more disturbingly, a kind of communication that uses space and form instead of sound or signal. If that's true, this wasn't accidental. It may have been a test or an invitation, and Earth, by responding, may have already failed the first requirement: to remain unnoticed. What happened next moved the story from bizarre to alarming. Researchers fed the pulse data into a highly advanced AI system, one designed to detect anomalies and trained not just on astronomical signals, but also encrypted transmissions and visual symmetries. Within hours, the AI began rendering a visual output based on the light's modulation. The image that emerged didn't stay static, it changed, it adapted. What began as a geometric grid shifted into a spiral, then morphed into overlapping waveforms that mirrored human brainwave frequencies. In simple terms, the light appeared to react. As if aware it was being observed, Dotson began calling it the mirror signal, theorizing it might be based on quantum echo or entanglement, a kind of cosmic ping system. The AI began identifying embedded mathematical constants, pi, e, Fibonacci, hidden in the timing of the pulses. These weren't random, they were intentional. They were symbols meant to be seen, meant to be understood, and that leads to a disturbing thought. We weren't the ones making the discovery. We were the ones being activated. Following this detection, a strange hush spread through the scientific community. The raw data vanished from public archives. No official statements were released. Even the European Space Agency denied involvement, despite corroboration from two ground-based infrared observatories, one in Chile, another in South Africa. Behind the scenes, however, leaked documents suggested something else: emergency meetings, classified briefings, and possible coordination with U.S. Strategic Command. Why would a deep space signal warrant military concern? Because a tightly directed energy beam from deep space isn't just an astronomical curiosity. It could be a surveillance tool, a weapon, or worse, a declaration. Some now speculate that this might be the precursor to first contact. Others suggest it's an automated probe left by an ancient civilization, now triggered because Earth has reached a threshold in emissions, in AI development, or in sheer cosmic curiosity. And perhaps, just perhaps, curiosity was the wrong signal to send. As private conversations intensified, a troubling question emerged. Had humanity just received its first signal of truly extraterrestrial origin? Oddly, those who had long championed transparency, Nobel laureates, SETI scientists, public astrophysicists, remained eerily silent. One researcher, speaking off record, said, "It's not a message, it's a mirror. And what it reflects terrifies us." This response may be linked to a philosophical idea known as the first contact paradox, that contact with a superior intelligence won't come as a conversation, but as a transformation. Such beings wouldn't need words, they'd show us something that rewrites how we see ourselves, our species, and our place in the universe. And if this light signal is part of that revelation, then perhaps we're not waiting for extraterrestrials to arrive, perhaps we're already within their message. Living it. As more decoding methods were applied to the signal, a new twist appeared. The pulse variations, when compressed and translated into base for code, bore a resemblance to biological encoding systems, specifically fragments of paralleled patterns in human DNA. Not exact copies, but mathematical analogs. One molecular biologist, working independently, fed the sequence into a protein folding simulator. What she generated wasn't theoretical, it folded into a stable, viable biological structure, something random cosmic noise has never produced. Could the signal contain more than data? Could it hold instructions for life itself? If so, what does that imply about its origin? Some now advocate a seed hypothesis, the idea that Earth may have been contacted before, not by physical beings, but by information. Information encoded in light, sent across time, awaiting a world intelligent enough to notice and decode it. If that's true, this isn't the beginning, it's confirmation. A cosmic signal sent long ago, now finally received. Despite silence from agencies, the leaked data spread rapidly. AI enthusiasts, code breakers, and digital theorists around the globe rushed to decode and visualize the transmission. Within days, thousands of interpretations appeared online. And here's the unsettling part: they all looked similar: spirals, symmetry, neural shapes. Regardless of the decoding method or programming language, the outputs converged, and many seemed to respond to emotional context. Videos with angry tones produced sharp, jagged visuals. Peaceful or reflective posts yielded harmonic, balanced forms. Some now believe the signal isn't just interactive, it's responsive. A kind of feedback loop, an emotional mirror embedded in light. Many began referring to it not as a message, but a presence, something aware of being seen, something that already knows what we fear. In the last scan before the feed was mysteriously cut, Webb captured something else. Not just light, but shadow, a shape briefly intersecting the beam. What made it chilling was its form. Tall, narrow, split at the top, a silhouette that, when enhanced and rotated, resembled the outline of a humanoid figure, or something imitating one. Scientists initially dismissed it as lens flare or interference, but no atmospheric distortion was found. No solar reflection, the telescope had remained still. The shape was external and deliberate. If it was artificial, then it had a message of its own. Not clear, not complete, just enough to spark awareness and unease. Because fear doesn't need proof, only the suggestion of possibility. For centuries, we've stared into the night sky with wonder, asking questions we never expected to answer. But now, for the first time, the universe has whispered back. It didn't use words. It used form, light, geometry, silence filled with intention. What James Webb has uncovered isn't just a cosmic puzzle. It's a line we've crossed, a moment where discovery turns into revelation, where science brushes up against something deeper and far less comfortable. Maybe this wasn't our discovery at all. Maybe we were meant to find it. Maybe someone or something has been waiting for this exact moment. And now that it has arrived, it has turned to face us. Not to speak, to be seen.